Good afternoon, everyone. We are the fourth group and we are the last one to present our reporting. And our topic is all about product and service pitch deck and presentation. So before we formally delve in through our topic, I want you guys to picture this. So pupunta ka ng mall and then suddenly napagawi ka sa bandang cyber zone. Sometimes, di ba, medyo nakaka-intimidate pumunta doon because there are a lot of sales lady, salesman na lalapit sa iyo and introduce you to a lot of devices, a lot of appliances, a lot of gadgets that probably baka kailanganin mo din. So I want you guys to picture this. Kailangan mo ng isang earbuds. So pumunta ka and pinakitaan ka ng isang device. So brand A, ang sabi niya sa iyo, no, maganda itong device namin. And binigay niya sa iyo yung mga features ng isang earpods or ng isang Bluetooth earphones, no? So sabi niya sa iyo, our product is has fast connection, madaling i-connect sa Bluetooth device, may noise cancellation, and even nag-demo siya sa harapan mo. And si product B naman, no, ang sabi niya lang sa'yo ay, maganda to. This is something that you can use travel-friendly. Ano yung mas pipiliin niyo sa dalawa? I bet that you would choose the first one or the former. Kasi doon makikita mo at alam mo kung paano siya gamitin, ano yung makukuha mong benepisyo if you buy that product, ano yung advantages kapag pinili mo yung produktong yon. And that's exactly what product and service pitch deck and presentation is all about. It's all about how these three questions were answered, no? Bakit ito mahalaga sa akin bilang isang gagamit o bilang isang kliyente? Ano yung maidudulot nito sa akin? At ano yung benefits na makukuha ko from that product and that service? So with that being said, let's figure out kung ano nga ba talaga ang products, what does it do, and kung ano din ba ang serbisyo.
So now, moving on to our presentation proper, we will talk about what is product presentation. So ano nga ba ito? No? What does it tell us or talks about? A product presentation is a structured and persuasive introduction of a product to an audience or investors, stockholders, aiming to either sell or gain their support. No? Hindi lamang yon ang description ng ating product presentation, but also, it should also explain the product's concept. No? Saan ba nanggaling yung idea when building this specific product? Saan ba napulot itong idea na ito just to make this product? And pangalawa, it should also have the product's features or it should tell about the product's features. Ano ba yung kayang gawin or magawa nitong product na ito, no? How is it innovative to others or other alternatives that we all already have in this world? And lastly, purpose. Bakit ba beneficial ito sa mga tao na gagamit nito? And another thing that we should note para sa ating product presentations that first impressions are very crucial when we are having these kinds of presentations because it will be the first time that our clients, audiences, and probably investors will encounter this product. So it's very important that we make a strong impact when showing our product to either gain their support or either sell the specific product that we are trying to present. And also, as I've said, a product presentation follows a structure. It should also have an organized information, an easy to understand one. Visuals, of course, as I've said, first impressions are crucial. Kaya dapat makita nilang maganda, maayos, and walang malfunctions, no, it should be presented nicely or pleasantly. And of course, a clear understanding of the flow, no, of the presentation. And another thing that we should note about product presentations is that it is kind of a mix of pitch. Ayan, it's a mix of pitch and a presentation. And some examples of product presentations are Apple's product launches that uh, probably we've heard every year, wherein they introduce a new product for uh, all of the people to see, no? Uh, Probably we've seen it online already. And another example that a product presentation has is Shark Tank. It is a TV show wherein businessmen or women uh, introduce their product or pitch their business and in the product. So it's a mix of pitch and a presentation. So moving on sa purpose ng product presentations. Although I've mentioned a few already, but let's discuss a bit more of what's the purpose of product presentation. So first, we have here, it is to introduce a product clearly. If you wanted to explain a product, we should use a product presentation, of course. And second, explain how it is useful or beneficial to others. Probably this product will help millions of people, or it will help shape the society. It will create a global change for others, no? And if you wanted to introduce a product like that or explain its benefits, we should use a product presentation. And third, to showcase the product's value compared to alternatives. No, how is it much better than what we have right now in this world? And fourth, it is to encourage others to buy the product, or to either support and to invest on this specific product.
So now we're going to talk about how to turn product features into a clear value proposition. Now, instead of simply listing what the product has, we focus on why those details matter to the user. Now, features describe the technical side, but the value proposition highlight the real benefit of it. So by explaining the value behind each feature, the audience can immediately see how the product improves their life or solves a specific problem. And that makes the product more persuasive, relatable, and user-centered. So to identify your core value proposition, start by looking the main problem your product solves. Then determine what makes it unique or better than the others, and choose top 2 or 3 benefits that matter most to your target audience. Focus on what people actually value, whether it's convenience to them, affordability, speed, or innovation. These core points will guide your pitch and shape the overall narrative of your presentation. So lastly, it's important to clarify the difference between features and benefits. In features, it describes what the product has or does. For example, fast charging, water resistance, or high storage capacity. And sa benefits naman, nag-explain siya ng what these features actually do for the users, like saving time, staying safe in any weather, or storing more files without worry. So the difference of the two of them is the features inform, but the benefits persuade. That's why benefits are more vital in the pitch, because they show the real value the users will experience.
Let us now understand the target audience. So, syempre, when we are doing our pitch deck presentation, dapat kilala natin kung para kanino ba yung presentation na gagawin natin. So, to identify our target audience, we have steps here. So, to identify them, we need to know the following information. The first one is to know the audience type. Sila ba ay prospective customers? Sila ba ay investors or from the management? So, kaya natin to inaalam para makapag-tailor tayo ng message na akma dun sa mga audience na yon. Katulad na lang, for example, if our audience is the investor, yung focus natin is mapupunta sa subjects like ROI or market size. Basically, ito yung filter natin for the focus ng presentation. And then, syempre, next one, we need to know the industry context. Ano ba yung industry ang kinagagalawan ng audience natin? So, ito yung biggest filter or ito yung biggest picture na nagsusurround sa ating audience that will serve as the first wildest filter. Ito yung mga Ito yung mga external forces that place pressure and put risk as well as open up opportunities for the entire sector. Ito yung nag-filter out doon sa eligible audience and nag-justify on why is it now the best time to invest. External forces or major forces that affects the industry context are forces like technological forces, lalo na pag may mga bagong teknolohiya, and regulatory force, which is yung batas and mga government mandate. And the next one we have is the economic force. Ito yung pagtaas at pagbaba ng ekonomiya. And then lastly, we have the social force, which are the trends and demands. And the next one we have here is the needs and immediate concerns. Ito yung mga current problems, requirement that the audience faces. So itong part ng pag-identify natin ng target audience, ito yung nagsaserve as actionable force or actionable motivation required for a successful pitch. Needs, ito yung requirements ng audience for their long-term success. While the immediate concern, ito yung mga problem that are time-sensitive that the audience want to solve right now. So, by understanding the needs and immediate concerns, we can now filter out our audiences to those who not only needs our solution, but also are compelled to pay for it. Then we have the individual goals. Ito yung mga specific objectives ng audience natin na gusto nilang ma-achieve. So, ano ba sa kanila? Paano ba sila magbe-benefit doon sa presentation na bibigay natin sa kanila? So, by identifying their goals, yung goals ng audience natin, makakatulong to sa atin para ma-tailor natin yung presentation na gagawin natin to suit what they need and want. Ayan. And then lastly, we have is identifying the pain for the audience. Ito yung mga existing or ito yung mga struggles or consequences that the product must solve. Ito yung mga existing struggles that the product or services is trying to solve for the audience. It is the quantifiable cost or frustration that the problem is causing for the audience that we want to persuade. So, now that we know how to identify the target audience, we now understand the target audience, we can now use the steps that I have explained to formulate the deck that we are trying to present to our audience to persuade them better.
In this part of the report, I will share to you on how to craft an effective product pitch deck, blending key elements with a clear structure for a maximum clarity and impact. This approach demonstrates strategic maturity, reduces investor risk, and helps audience grasp your presentation vision through logical storytelling. First, we begin with must-haves. What are the things or must-haves in your slides? Number 1 is focus problem, 2 solutions, and product overview slides to build a compelling narrative. Number 1, problem slide. This defines the pain points and with evidences like market size metrics and visuals such as photos that is connected to the topic. Number 2, solution slide. How your unique fix, like example on how your products or solutions work. Last and third is product overview slides. This highlights the features and overview of the unique points of your products or solution. For our pitch outline, you need to start with company intro and problem statement that hooks the audience, and that follows with product features via demos or visuals, and that explains to customers the value of your product, and close with traction proof plus next steps like partnerships or the call to action. For product flow structure, you need to use problem, product, value, and proof for engaging storytelling that begins with pains like manuals, like records, or statistics. You need to introduce the products as a solution and details on how it will impact your customer. Lastly is investor expectations. Your investor seeks problem validation with urgency, a standard value, proposition, traction evidence, strong team, scalability, go-to-market plans, and financial outlook. Thus deliver with passion data and visuals to build trust.
To talk about what can we use to create effective visual design for product presentation. And these guidelines will help make our slides clearer, more engaging, and easier for audience to understand. First, use examples. Una, mahalaga ang paggamit ng examples. Bakit? Dahil mas madaling intindihin ng audience ang isang concept kapag may concrete example silang nakikita. For instance, kung magrepresent tayo ng product features, mas nakakatulong kung ipapakita natin yung actual screenshot or scenario kung paano ito ginagamit. With examples, we gave them something familiar so that they can follow along through. Number 2, simplify. Next, keep your slides simple. Hindi kailangan overloaded. The goal is clarity. Clean and minimal slides help the message to stand out. Imagine showing a slide na puno ng paragraphs, ma-overwhelm ka talaga. But with simple visual and short phrases, they immediately grasp what you want to say. Moving forward to number 3, easy-to-read fonts. Typography also matters. Gumamit tayo ng easy-to-read fonts like sans serif style, clean, modern, readable. Consistency is the key. The same font family, same size for heading, body text. This keeps the presentation professional and ensure na mabilis makuha ng mga makakakita ng information. Number 4 is style. Then, let's talk about style, especially colors. Choose colors that complement each other and fit the theme of the product. The right color, important parts, and make charts easier to understand. Avoid overly bright combination that cause eye strain. And finally, provide speaker notes. This allows you to add detailed explanation without stuffing the slide with too much text. Para hindi magmukhang textbook yung slides. The visuals stay clean, while you, the presenters, or us, deliver the richer details verbally. This keeps the audience focused on listening rather than reading. By using examples, keeping slides simple, choosing readable fonts, applying consistent style, and taking advantage of speaker notes, we can create product presentation that are clearer, more engaging, and more professional.
Today, I'll be talking about why it's more important or effective to show a product rather than just talk about it. Or in marketing and presentations, of course, the visuals create much impact rather than just talking about your product or your services. Or in layman's term, mas mabilis na pa-process ng audience yung information na gusto nating ipahayag sa kanila. And as I have said earlier, telling isn't enough. Showing is. And of course, we have several ways to demonstrate a product or a services. Firstly, we have photos. We can use a high-quality image taken from different angles for us to better show the audiences yung full look ng product or ng services. And if applicable, we can even use the before and after shots or yung mga lifestyle photos for us to better make the audience feel na pwede talaga siya or mas kung ano yung mafe-feel nila kapag ginamit nila yun in real life or kapag na-experience nila in real life. Or it helps the audiences visualize na parang ganito pala siya gamitin, ganito pala siya maranasan, and such. And of course, kapag product naman, we can also do the prototypes. So, kapag may prototypes or may early versions tayo ng product, na pwede natin siya ipakita or pwede natin siyang ma-maximize. This shows transparency. And it allows people to understand yung product's design, yung size, and yung features upfront. Kitang-kita nila. And it also communicates yung progress natin na hindi basta-basta ginawa lang yung product, na pinag-isipan talaga siya. And of course, we can also use the demo videos. Demo videos are one of the most effective ways to demonstrate a product. But of course, in demo videos, you have to keep it short, step-by-step, clean lighting, simple captions or narrations, and the final result as simple as possible. A good demo video should answer the questions, paano ko ba siya gagamitin? Or, what will it do for me? Ano yung mapapala ko? Now, how do we showcase a product usage clearly? Now, para mas maging effective yung demonstration natin, we can show real people using the product naturally. Huwag tayong magpaka-harsh seller. Let's show them kung ano talaga yung benefits ng product or ng services without, namimilit. And of course, we should start with the problem. Then we can show how the product solves the problem or yung tanong kaganina. Now, we can also keep the visual setting simple para hindi din distracting or overwhelming sa audience. Now, if the product has multiple use, we can show it clearly or isa-isa yung pagpapakita natin ng benefits para hindi gulo-gulo. Now, most importantly, that we can use to show the product usage clearly, clarity is key. Kailangan madaling sundan at madaling i-imagine ng viewer yung use ng product mo or ng services for them to appreciate it better. But how about those people na hindi pa nakaka-experience ng product mo or ng services? How do we make them feel the product that is tangible and real? Finally, we can make the product or the services tangible for them kahit nasa screen lang sila. We can do this by showing up close or to highlight the texture or the quality ng product or ng services. We can also use lifestyle shots, like I have said earlier, to show how it fits to our everyday lives. Of course, we can also show real results or transformations, kagaya na sabi ko kanina, before and after shots. Now, this small details helps the audience feel the product kahit na hindi pa nila nahahawakan or na-experience. So overall, demonstrating the product is all about making it visual, real, and believable. Show what it does, how it works, and why it matters. But ano nga ba ang difference ng product presentation and service presentation?
So now we move on to service presentation and what makes service presentation different from a product presentation. So before we move on, what is service presentation? So it is an organized explanation of service and which we are showing na kung ano yung service na to, kung ano yung ino-offer natin, and what the service mean for our clients. Earlier, we've discussed about what a product presentation is. So it is an introduction of a product sa audience natin. So what are the differences between a service presentation and a product presentation? So the first key differences is service presentation explains in intangible while product presentation show the tangible. So sa product presentation kasi, when we present the product presentation, meron tayong physical item na dala-dala na, right? So nung item na yun, ayun ang pinaka-product natin na ipapakita natin sa audience natin para makita nila yung appearance, yung features, etc. Pero sa service kasi, since service yon, it's intangible. Meaning na it cannot be seen nor touched. So wala tayong other way para ma-present natin yung service sa kanila other than we need to explain detailed sa presentation natin what the service must offer sa clients natin. Now, let's move on naman sa second key differences ng service presentation, which is service presentation rely on trust, while sa product presentation naman rely on visible evaluation. Kasi sa product presentations, since may physical item na silang dala, pwede nang ma-visibly evaluate ng audience kung ano yung sa tingin nila na maganda doon sa item, sa physical item na meron sila. Pero sa service kasi, sa service presentation, we need to rely more on trust dahil since it's intangible, hindi nila makikita kung ano yung service na pine-present natin. Kaya we need to rely more on building trust sa clients natin to show them na itong service natin na ay isang maayos na service na pwede na masasatisfy yung clients natin and in terms of experience. So speaking sa experience, now let us move on sa third and last one na key differences natin, which is service presentation focused on experience while a product presentation focused on features. So for a service naman, since it's intangible nga, di ba? We need to highlight the experience kasi sa service presentation. We have no other way paano natin ma-represent yung service na yun sa clients natin.
Moving on to explaining how a service works.
Whenever we explain how a service works, the process must be transparent and easy to follow. So first, make a menu. You've got to present a clear offering of your services dahil your service is your product. We may not be selling a physical or tangible product, but you are selling a service, hence it is your product. So you must consider it as that. Second, no, you must always keep in mind that whenever you explain a service, you must have clarity. Each service requires a short description kung ano ba yung ginagawa nito, ano yung binibigay nito, ano yung benefit na binibigay nito. So, always get to the point agad whenever explaining because clients acknowledge or appreciate a short description or clarity and speed. Dahil kapag masyadong mahaba yung explanation mo, there's a possibility that they may lose interest on what you are giving or what you are offering. So for you to execute that or for you to explain your service in clarity and conciseness, you must know what you are selling. Dapat alam mo sa sarili mo kung ano yung binebenta mo, alam mo sa sarili mo kung ano yung binibigay mo, and what you are offering itself. Dapat alam mo yun mismo sa sarili mo. Pangalawa, take inventory of what you do and don't do. Basically, make two kinds of lists. Una, make a list of the services that you offer. What do you do? Of course, when someone inquires to your business, they will ask, ano yung ino-offer mo? Ano yung makukuha nila sa business mo? So, ayun, provide your core services to them para maintindihan nila kung ano nga ba yung makukuha nila sa business mo or sa service mo. Second, make a list of the things or services that you don't offer. Bakit kailangan pang sabihin kung ano yung mga service na hindi mo ino-offer when nasabi mo na kung ano nga ba yung ino-offer mo? It is because providing what you don't offer is as important as what you offer. It is also to avoid confusion. It is also to avoid the possible instances like whenever after saying the services that you offer, there's a possibility that your client will still ask you, are you offering this, are you doing this or that? So for example, you're a photographer and you said to your client that you're ikaw yung magpipicture, ikaw yung magsa-set up ng lightings, ikaw bahala sa background, and that's it. And then there's a possibility that magtatanong sila, kasama na ba dyan yung photo editing? Kasama na ba dyan yung concepts? Well, obviously, it is not part of your service kasi hindi na naman yun part din nung in-explain mo sa kanya. So, ganun kahalaga yung listahan ng mga services na hindi mo ina-offer. So, just to make it clear and to avoid confusion with your client, sabihin mo na lang na these are the services that I offer and these are the services that I do not offer. As easy as that. Lastly, you don't think you have to do it all. So for instances like that whenever a client asks you about the services that you don't offer, there's a possibility kasi that if you only offer half of what your client needs, there's a possibility that you may lose them, that they may cut businesses with you. So in order to prevent or to avoid that from happening, so be one step ahead from them. Make sure or just sabihin mo na lang sa kanila na if you are looking for those kind of services, I know someone, I have a colleague to provide those services for you, and we can work with them vice versa. All together, we can work with them until this project or proposal was executed, and that's it. So, may mga networks ka, may connections ka, and you don't have to do it all because you have them. And with that, we move forward on how we build trust and credibility with our clients on proposing our business together.
Now na meron tayong idea kung anong service presentations, we can now focus on one of its most important aspects, which is building trust and credibility. A great service presentation isn't just built on visuals or
technical explanations, it is also built on how much confidence our clients gain on us and the services we offer. So now let's take a look at the different approaches you can take in order to do that effectively. Firstly, we must always present a clear offering of services. Always remember that trust starts with clarity. If yung mga clients natin, they don't have an idea on what services we offer, it will be highly unlikely that we will be able to gain their trust. So dapat always make our services clear, easy to understand, and organized like a menu. Kasi when we have a menu of services that is simple and clear, it helps our clients understand what we do in only a matter of seconds, and it also helps reduce the uncertainties that they may have. And equally as important as that is dapat maging transparent tayo on what services we don't offer. Importante yung pagiging honest in the limitations of our service, since this tells our clients that we are not trying to oversell or mislead them. So that is all for that part. Secondly is to have trusted networks. Another way to build our credibility is by acknowledging that we cannot do everything on ourselves. And instead of pretending to offer services that we are not qualified for or interested in, we can instead build and maintain connections or networks of colleagues we can trust who can provide these services on our behalf. And having these kinds of relationships or networks, makakatulong din siya sa atin in the long run, since it can help us win accounts we would otherwise lose, since we don't offer the services that they desire. And in these situations then, important that we don't engage in yung tinatawag na white labeling, which is taking credit for another person's service or work. And instead, we must present our collaborator services clearly and openly. Kung ba, pag tinanong tayo ng client, do you have this service and you don't, you instead say, we don't have this service, but I have a friend or a colleague who does, and I can connect you to him or her if you would please. So this approach makes you look professional and prepared, and it also helps you since you're not just selling your own work, you're selling your ability to deliver solutions to your clients. And next is that we must always be clear and transparent about our pricing. If yung pricing natin is vague or hidden, madaling masisira yung trust ng client sa atin. Clients immediately become suspicious kapag they can't easily find out what's the cost of our services. And by pagiging transparent, nare-remove yung mga suspicions na ito, and also, you are showing that you are confident in your own value and that you respect the client's time. So always be clear with your pricing. Lastly, one of the most vital ways you can build trust is simply by being visible. In this day and age, it is no longer a good idea to be another faceless and nameless business entity. Clients want to know who they're dealing with, and that must be someone with a human face. Your face, your voice, your personality, dapat lumalabas lahat yan sa presentations mo. And through these presentations, you have the chance to demonstrate your best capabilities and your best qualities. You can demonstrate you're approachable, you're thoughtful, you're professional, and that you're fun to work with. Remember that clients are looking for a person, not just a service. And when they feel connected to the people behind the service, trust will develop naturally. And now we will move forward with the next topic.
Now let's move on to understanding the needs of a service audience. So understanding the needs of a service audience starts with identifying who the message is for. Hindi tayo pwedeng mag-communicate nang walang clear idea of the target users. So we need to know their background, we need to know what drives them, and what outcomes they expect sa atin. Once ma-identify na natin yung audience, organizations can create outreach strategies that can actually work. Now, let's move on sa 2 requirements ng service audience. So first, yung emotional requirements, and second is yung functional requirements. For the emotional side, the audience needs reassurance, support, a sense of value, safety, and confidence. Gusto nila na mararamdaman nila yung service understands and cares about their concerns. For the functional side naman, they expect quick access to features, dependable results, and convenience. Ayaw nila ng mabagal or complicated na sistema. By identifying customer needs, communication can spot existing problems that make things difficult for the audience, like long procedures, complex system, lack of assistance, and unmet expectations. A service shows its problem.
solving ability through three main approaches. So first is yung task simplification, simplifying the process so it is easier to follow. Second, reliable solution delivery, providing consistent and dependable results. Third, and lastly, supportive communication, giving emotional comfort and clear guidance. Para maging effective ang message, it must match the audience's interest through the right language, content, and tone. With targeted communication, the service becomes more relevant, leading to higher trust, satisfaction, and engagement.
Moving on to the key elements in the service presentation, let's begin with their purposes. So, when we pitch a service kasi, we are not selling an object or an actual product. Instead, we are selling an experience, a solution. So, kailangan clear sa audience natin kung ano nga ba yung makukuha nila and paano nga ba makakatulong yung service natin sa kanila. Importante na we must always communicate the value behind the experience. Now, let's talk about the first key element of a strong service pitch. So, every great pitch starts with a real customer problem. In a module, yung concern doon ay kung paano nga ba mapapakilala yung business nila sa maraming tao. And yung solution na binigay doon ay we can build a professional website para mas maraming tao yung makakilala sa kanila. And with this, we can make the client feel na naiintindihan natin yung problem nila. And also, may solution tayo para sa problem nila. And that emotional connection is the heart of service selling. But solving the problem is just the start. Umpisa pa lang yan sa maraming proseso. Customers also want to know the overall experience na in-expect nila. Siyempre, a service is judged based on how people experience it. So, kailangan talaga natin ma-highlight kung ano nga ba yung makukuha nila and paano nila ito makukuha. So, using the same example, what they get is a functional, optimized website, and how they get it is through a simple guided process. And as the module says nga na customers want to know how easy you are to work with. So, kailangan natin ipakita yung proseso sa kanila from start to finish. From inquiry, planning, design, development, launch, to support. So, kailangan clear talaga sa kanila para makabuo tayo ng client's trust. And now that they understand nga yung experience, we can strengthen it by showing the structure behind it. Dito natin ipapasok yung service blueprint na tinatawag. Ito yung clear step-by-step process of showing kung sino nga ba yung makakasama sa service. Ito, sila yung mga designer, developer, support, paano yung communication, ano yung gagamitin nilang channel, kailan sila mag-i-start, kailan sila mag-i-end, ito yung timeline. So, itong blueprint na to, ito yung mag-serve as proof as transparency and professionalism. And this results to less risk for the client and also more confidence in choosing us. And once expectations are set, we can focus on what matters the most to customers. Ito yung value ng service natin. Mahalaga na matandaan natin na yung binibenta natin ay yung value, not yung features. Hindi natin binibenta yung technical side sa pagbuo ng isang website, kundi yung benefit and impact nito sa business. Halimbawa, instead of saying na we build websites, we say na we help your business grow and reach customers 24/7. In short, yung features, dinidescribe niya yung service, and yung value naman, ito yung nagko-convince sa atin na bilhin yung isang bagay. And now that we've covered the core elements of a service presentation, Lourdes will now talk about communicating service value and differentiation.
For this part, I'll be discussing communicating service value and differentiation. This focuses on two important concepts, the value proposition and competitive advantage. Basically, to explain why a service is worth choosing and how it stands out from competitors. So when we talk about a service value, we're simply referring to the benefit that clients receive from the service. It's not just about what the service is, it's about how it actually solves a problem for the customer. Service value also includes the overall experience and convenience the client gets while using the service.
So in short, service value answers the question, what's in it for the customer? So the value proposition is the core message of your service. A good value proposition clearly states what the service offers, highlights why it matters, and focuses more on benefits rather than features. It also needs to be short and memorable. If a client can understand your value proposition in one sentence, then your communication is effective. Next is a competitive advantage, which explains how your service performs better, easier, or faster than others. This could be your unique process, your expertise, or even convenience that your competitors don't offer. Competitive advantage is important because clients usually compare different service providers. So you need to clearly define what makes your service the stronger option. So one, how to stand out among service competitors. To stand out among service competitors, you need to highlight the elements that make your service different. Show how it rises above what already exists. Standing out begins with identifying the gap clearly. A service becomes noticeable when it responds to a need that is either underserved or handled poorly by current alternatives. For example, you may show how the usual process in the industry is slow, expensive, or even complicated, then reveal a simpler or more dependable path through your service. 2. Identifying unique selling points. Part of differentiation is identifying your USPs or unique selling points. USPs answer questions like, why should customer choose us, and what can we do that others cannot? A unique selling point must describe an outcome for the user. Instead of listing features, we explain what the user gains. Third, addressing skepticism and setting realistic expectations. Of course, clients don't just accept claims right away. Clients may wonder whether the promised results are realistic. They may doubt the effectiveness, credibility, or value for money of a service. To address skepticism, we provide a straightforward evidence. This may be early user feedback, a simple market preference, or a demonstration of how similar solutions have succeeded. We also define what the service can accomplish within a practical timeline. This approach helps build trust. It communicates that the service is ambitious but not exaggerated.
Lastly, no, is how to present an advocacy presentation and ano ba yung mga steps for us to be able to present it effectively. So first is open with an engaging statement. It is very important for us to start our presentation, especially with our advocacy, ng maikli, short, but powerful. In this way, no, we can grab the audience's attention and mas more curious sila to hear more. Second is present the problem. Kailangan na ina-explain natin yung problema clearly. Sino ba yung naaapektuhan? Ano yung problema? Ano ba yung dapat nating solusyonan? At kailangan na iintindihan ng audience natin why it matters. Bakit ito kailangang solusyonan? Why are we advocating for this? Ano yung problema na dapat tuldukan or dapat gawan ng pagbabago? In this way, no, mas makaka-relate yung audience natin dahil alam nila yung problema and we are doing our advocacy with a cause and a purpose. Third one is provide facts and data. Studies shows that messages that are clear, concise, malinaw, and audience-focused are more likely to get noticed and heard and taken action of. So, dapat we always support our points with facts and data like statistics, research, and iba't iba pang mga available na documents everywhere na relevant sa audience mo. Kasi credibility is the key, especially kung gusto nating makonvince sila na merong pruweba, merong etong mga datos na to ay mahalaga nating malaman for us to be able to fulfill our advocacy. Fourth one is share a story or create an example. It is very important for us to persuade our audience, hindi ba? Especially with our advocacies. And one way to do that is by sharing a story or create examples. And this way, no, may mukha yung ating mga isinishare na advocacies. Especially, pag gusto nating makarelate sila doon sa ating ina-advocate. Kasi, alam niyo yun, mas nailalagay nila yung mga sarili nila doon sa posisyon doon. At napapa-question sila na, oo nga no, what if ganito? What if ganyan? So it is really important for us to create examples para mas naiintindihan nila kung ano ba yung gusto nating ipahayag sa kanila. Second to the last is connect the issue to our audience. It is very important for us that our advocacy aligns with our audience. Or it's safe to say na kung gagawa man tayo ng advocacy, no, ikikater natin ito sa kung sino ba yung nagpa-prioritize ng advokasya na gusto nating mangyari. In this way, no, mas malaki yung chance na i-support nila tayo because we share the same sentiments and they resonate with our advocacy. Lastly, is to ask or make a request. It is very important that we communicate our audience directly sa kanila mismo what they need to do in order for us na magawa yung isang advocacy. Do we want them to make change? Gusto ba natin na mag-take sila ng actions? And if so, mahalaga na alam nila kung ano yung kailangan nilang gawin so that together with us, nagagawa natin into reality yung advocacy natin.
We are the Group 4, and this concludes our presentation.